Hey everybody, my name is Nir Bashan. I am so excited to have Dan Ariely here, one of my favorite writers of all time. His book is right here. I have, I don't know, everything he's ever written. Dan, you have a new book out, right? That came out a few months ago?
I no, I have a book that came out a couple of years ago, but I wrote two kids books recently. Actually, I wrote three.
Oh, nice.
Uh, Two
Tell
of
us
them
about
will
the
come
kids'
out.
book.
No. I'm not going to talk because we're here to talk about your book. So let's
Ah,
focus. We can talk about this, and you are tackling, I think, one of the most important aspects of human progress. So
thanks,
why
Dan.
don't you say something about your book, and then I'm going to ask you a question about how you picked that title.
I appreciate it. I love it. I wrote a book called The Solution Mindset. It came out a couple weeks ago. It is with Wiley and Son. It's a book about how creativity and innovation can solve some of the greatest challenges that humanity has. So I took 10 people from around the world doing incredible, incredible things. That, by the way, Dan, we don't ever hear about on the news, ever. We always hear about the fringe and the isolated and the crazy, but we never hear about the people who've worked their entire lives to move humanity just a little bit forward. That's what I took time to highlight in this book, The Solution Mindset. Around the world, problems like pollution, problems like employment, prison. I looked at prison systems and crime and punishment and rehabilitation and all of these things to try to extract creative skills and creative tools that people are using. And then I try to break it down so that anybody can use it, whether they're a researcher or an accountant. That's what the new book's all about.
So you say here's the story of an amazing creative act that has huge impact on the world as well.
Yep.
And now let's analyze the anatomy of what happened. And maybe the anatomy is not limited to prisons. Maybe the anatomy could be about lots of things.
Yes.
And I think all of us all of us want to be creative, but I think all of us, I'm talking right now, humanity to you, um, do we really need to be more creative? Or should we just leave creativity to these amazing people or this? Or can we get better? Is it worthwhile the investment, or we should give up and say, oh, like if you're really creative, go ahead and do it. But me, I'm an amateur. Why should I get a little bit more creative? So you
So
want to argue that everybody could benefit, but
I,
help me understand why.
I want to argue that everybody can benefit. The reason being is that, Dan, I think it's the only reason that we're still alive today. What happened was back in 30, 40, 50,000 years ago, we weren't the best people. We weren't the best creature. There was animals far, fiercer with bigger teeth. There was, people, different creatures out there that were able to go faster and be stronger and all of this stuff. The thing that we had that nobody else had was the ability to creatively survive. Right? How did we do it? Don't eat that berry. Eat that berry. Take these two sticks and put them together, and all of a sudden you got a little so you can hide underneath and while the thing is trying to kill you. So I feel like it's in our DNA. And fast forward to today, we're
Is
all
it is what you're saying is that the striving to always improving is in our DNA? Is that kind of the
a
the, the,
thousand
the
percent
argument?
the
Yeah.
the thrive to improve, to get better.
I want
Okay,
to sleep like this. Let me switch the pillow. Let me try a different temperature. Let me wake up 10 minutes earlier. Change
a
my
a
coffee. All
hundred
of those
percent,
things.
a
Okay.
hundred percent. I think we're hardwired to improve our condition.
And that's wonderful. So you're saying that there's maybe highbrow. Tell me if I'm correct. You're saying there's highbrow creativity, like the people who are going to go down in history as the creative types, the people you write about and so on. And then there's the lowbrow creativity, the creativity of all of us that say, okay, you can tinker with your romantic relationship, and you can tinker with how you sleep, and you can tinker with your relationship with your kids and with how you do work, and you might not design the Eiffel Tower, but you're going to um, live your true nature because you're going to be creative and you're going to benefit a lot in fixing improving your well-being, basically your life in all kinds of ways.
100%. 100%. And I wouldn't categorize it as lowbrow, highbrow. I think it's all kind of the same brow. I think it's
Okay.
the tool that we were given, all human beings were given to enact positive change. Some people use creativity for negative change. That's fine, but it's not what we're talking about. We're talking about using it for positive and good change on the planet. And it could start very small, right? It could be a little thing. I'll give you an example. So in my book, chapter one, I talk about just start. That's the first principle of the book. There was a surfer who's a friend of mine, named Tito Benecott. He's in Tahiti. When he was 16, not very long ago, but a few years ago, he was 16. He surfed the same spot every day. Every day, Danny surfed the same spot. And then one day he gets there and there's no surf. So him and his friends, they dive in and they see the reef is like kind of washed over or dying, the whole deal. Reef in a tropical beach is what makes the surf, right? The
Yeah.
currents hit and it pops up. So he went home like all of us and he Googled, okay, like what's going on with, reef, surf, coral that's bleaching and all this stuff. And he gets a few ideas. So he goes, there's a famous marine biology school in Tahiti. A bunch of the schools from the UC system have their marine biology departments there. He goes, guys, I got a great idea. Let's do this, let's do that. And they're like, whoa, whoa, pump the brakes, dude. You're 16. You don't have a PhD. You don't even have an undergrad degree. You haven't even graduated high school. Like, what are you thinking here? You gotta do 10 years of this stuff, go
Pay
through
your
these.
dues. Pay your
Pay your
dues first.
dues. Pay your dues, right? We're academics and like we really believe in our systems. And so chill out. You can't do anything. He said, guys, I love you. I love science, but I want to try something. So he went out there with his friend, Dan, for real, with a rope, like a rope, and started attaching coral, and they all died. And then he tried it a different way, in a different way, and evolved, and creativity and evolution in the thinking of how to apply it. And now he owns the biggest uh, coral restoration company on earth. And those scientists that told him no are now his employees. That
Yeah.
power is in every human being on earth, but we
So
too
so let me
scared to
let me let
implement.
me try to distill this.
Yeah.
So really the principle when you say just try, it's not really just try, it's try a lot, iterate, and keep on getting feedback.
Yes, but none
So
of
so
that
so you're
happens
saying
until you
that
try it the first time.
yeah, we just finished a study that I'm so excited about this. I'm going to use this time to tell you
Love it.
about it. We worked with schools in Ghana to improve the performance of kids in school.
Okay.
And we tried three different things. Some kids got the reports of their performance, so they can read it and learn and understand. Some schools, the teachers got the reports about the kids. In some schools, we used AI in real time to give them feedback as they were doing the work. So you're writing and you're getting feedback as you're doing the work. Guess what? Unbelievable improvement in that condition.
Which one?
The third one, the one that made the feedback in
Real-time feedback.
real time feedback, for me, it made it more like a game. We think about games as being fun. We think about school as being punishment. The difference is that games, you get the feedback, you hit the racket, you see what's happening. And in school, we finished a test, we get the results 4 weeks later.